I already know I'm going to regret this. I can feel it in my bones. Today I am tackling some of my sentimental stuff. I was going to just tackle this cupboard right here, but there are two other cupboards beside it, and I think there's not as much stuff in those, so I think that I'm going to tackle those too. But like I said, I think I will regret it. Anyway, let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura, and today I want to share my tips for tackling sentimental stuff. So this is just a small sneak peek of some of my sentimental stuff. There's some stuff from childhood. I'm not 100% sure what's in here. I think it's old college papers. But a lot of this then is like cards, letters, gifts that you guys have sent. And I stash it all in here, and now it's just become a mess. I was just going to tackle this, but I also have this cupboard here. There's not much in here. It's mostly photographs, pictures, some stuff that Scout made. And then in this one, an old games console. Okay, the lighting's not great. Oh, that's a little bit better. A games console in here. And then random stuff. So yeah, that's the situation. I think I will tackle all three, but I also think that I will live to regret those words. Let me put you on this tripod because my arm will be broken off me. But the very first tip I have for you is to declutter sentimental stuff when you are in a pretty neutral frame of mind. The reason I say that is because if you are feeling exceptionally happy, really joyful, it's going to be harder to get rid of sentimental stuff because it's going to bring out a lot of happy memories for you. Then on the flip side, if you are feeling particularly frustrated, stressed, angry, angsty, any of those negative feelings, you may be a little bit more ruthless than you would otherwise be and get rid of some stuff that maybe you might live to regret. Rage purges are great if you are tackling a space where you already know that you want to get rid of a lot of that stuff. Maybe it has just been hanging around for a while. You know that you need to move it out, and it's just a matter of getting up the motivation. In those situations, rage purges are great because they can motivate you to finally get the job done. Rage purges for sentimental stuff, not so great. There is kind of a workaround. You can declutter, make the decisions while you are in a rage or not feeling great, but I would say do not actually get that stuff out of your home until you are in a more balanced frame of mind, because again, regrets, I've had a few. But yeah, keep the stuff in your home at least until you're feeling a little bit better and you feel that you have a bit more perspective. Okay, tip number 2 then is to work in chunks, and there are 2 different ways you can do it. For me, I'm going to be working in space chunks. So I am restricting myself to this particular area. Actually, let me show you where I keep most of my sentimental stuff. That will give you an idea of the overall scale and how much I am breaking it down by only tackling these cupboards. Also, my hair's crazy today and every day. Okay, this is our home gym in the unfinished part of our basement. This tub here and the stuff around it and over here is some of my sentimental stuff. I actually went through this pretty recently. That's why it's just kind of sitting out there on its own. And then the rest is here. So this is Christmas stuff, but all of this, let me get in here. All of this is my sentimental stuff. It doesn't look like much there, but I promise you it is. This is boxes, bags, you can see old stuffed animals. Yeah, there's a lot. There's like, this goes way down and back. There are tubs and stuff in there. So that's it. That's a lot of my sentimental stuff. And then there will be random, like other sentimental stuff just scattered throughout the house. Scout's artwork, stuff like that. So, okay, that was the first way to declutter in terms of chunks. The second way then is to do it in time blocks. lighting crazy, snowing outside. We have about a foot of snow outside and it's just making everything really glary right now. Also very glad to be indoors today. But yes, the second one is blocks of time. So set yourself a time limit. An hour, half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever you feel will work best for you. But definitely with sentimental stuff, I would always recommend, really for any decluttering project, but particularly sentimental, because it is so mentally taxing. Break it way down. Take your breaks when you need them. But yeah, that is tip number 2. I think I should just stop rambling now and just dive in. I'm putting it off. I am, but I have to go. Another tip then, if it is an option for you, is to go through your stuff with a non-sentimental person. When we were packing up our stuff to move to the US from Ireland, I had lots of Scout's baby stuff that was in the attic that I was going to take with us. But my husband stepped in. He was the voice of reason. He helped me to see that I was probably never going to look at that stuff again. A lot of it was clothes. You know, we had pictures of her in those clothes. There really was no need to keep that stuff. He just helped me to see things from a different perspective, see things a little bit more logically, and from that I was able to donate or let go of a lot of that stuff so that we didn't need to bring it with us and burden us, I guess, for the next few years. So yes, if you have a non-sentimental person in your life, this might be a great time to kind of draft them in, and also kind of consider, some people are sentimental about certain types of things and then not about others. For me, I'm sentimental about clothes, things like that. I am not sentimental about papers, drawings, artwork, things like that. So if you're going through a particular category, there may be someone in your life who is just not sentimental at all about that particular type of thing. So ask them for their help, ask them to kind of talk you through it. My husband is, for the most part, unsentimental, and that was probably the only time he has ever helped me to declutter. That only took a minute or two, thankfully. I have a lot of cards. An insane amount of cards. Anyway, and there was a box here that I had no idea was even back there. It was right at the back. Let me show you what is around my feet right now. This is the box that I had no idea was back there. So some of Scout's old clothes. There are some books there. I don't know like what is in the rest of that box, but hopefully it won't take too long to go through. This is a big pile of cards. A lot of this is pictures, more cards. Again, haven't checked in that box, but I do think it's old college notes. We will see. Again, some stuff that you guys have sent me. This is a junk journal that Julie sent me. Thank you so much, Julie. I do love it. More pictures, old games consoles, like my very first computer when I was 7 years old. This big metal rose that Sam bought me. This is the first gift that Sam ever bought me, I think. It is a jewellery box, and I know from taking it out that there is some stuff in it, probably stuff from Sam. A lot of photographs here. And this, let me show you this actually. This is my wig from when I was a lawyer in Ireland. You would not believe how expensive these are. Madness. And I hardly ever wore it because I practiced family law, and when you're a family lawyer you're not required to wear this, so it actually didn't get much action. Let me see. Oh yeah, still fits. Straighten it up there. What do you think? It's a look. It's definitely a look. That's one of those things that I really do not know what to do with. Am I ever going to wear it again? No. It's not overly sentimental to me because I didn't wear it all that often. And then there's that whole, I spent a lot of money on it. But realistically, what am I going to do with it? I don't know. But that has prompted me to, it's given me kind of a bit of a strategy, I think. I think the way that I'm going to tackle this is I'm going to separate things out into 3 piles. One is for stuff that I'm ready to let go of. The second will be stuff that I know that I definitely want to keep, you know, huge sentimental value, lots of memories, etc. And then the third, which I suspect will be the biggest pile, will be stuff that I'm kind of like, I could let go of this, not quite ready, not quite sure. Yeah, that's, I feel like that's the stage that I'm at. I feel like a lot of this stuff will be stuff. Oh, okay, let's just dive in. This is probably the only category where I would give consideration to actually keeping your maybe pile. For any other category of clutter, I would say if it's a maybe, you know, if it's not a strong yes, then you should just let go of that stuff. But for sentimental, I feel there's just a lot of potential regret there. There's a lot of deep personal meaning and feeling behind certain things. So generally, for sentimental stuff, I would say go ahead and keep your maybe pile for now. You just may not be quite ready to part with that stuff yet. You may still have some unprocessed feelings or, you know, unfinished thoughts or whatever around certain items. But if this particular kind of 3 pile system doesn't work for you, I would also recommend my wave method. That is where you go through stuff in waves, in phases, starting with the easier stuff. So you go through everything like your first pass and pick out the things so you know that you are ready to let go of. Then you go back through stuff and you make some kind of slightly harder decisions about things that, yeah, maybe you could let go this time around, and so on and so forth. And that just helps to kind of continue whittling away at the pile, continue eroding away at the pile without just having to tackle everything all at once. So that may be a system that also works really well for you if you're just not quite ready to tackle everything in one go. I'm sure this is a case of famous last words, but it's actually going well so far. This pile here is stuff that I'm ready to let go of, and it's pretty big, so I'm surprised that I've been able to let go of so much. I have a maybe pile and I have a definitely keeping pile, which is here. There isn't actually that much left to go through. I've probably gone through about a quarter already. This box, is it college notes? That might slow me down if it is, because I'll have to go through them. Well, I won't have to go through them all, but I probably will end up going through them. But yeah, so far so good, which worries me because it means something terrible is about to happen. Something is about to slow me down. But no, I think I've got this. Yeah, famous last words. I definitely did get slowed down, and you will see that in a minute. So what I would say, if you come across something that is kind of a sticking point for you, something that is sucking you in, set it aside. You really want to make quick decisions, or as quick as possible in the beginning, because that is what is going to continue to build motivation for you. If something is stalling you, if something is, making you take a really long stroll down memory lane, set that aside and come back to it later. Right now, you just want to keep the momentum going. I would also say then that if you have something that has overwhelmingly negative emotions attached to it, or negative memories, give serious consideration to letting that stuff go. To me, sentimentality should be a positive feeling. Your stroll down memory lane should be a happy, enjoyable one. So if there is something that just carries painful memories, consider letting that go. You will carry those wounds in your heart. There is no need to also keep a physical reminder of that, just rubbing salt in the wounds every time you see it. You will see me here going through old hospital notes from when my daughter was born. I had a very difficult labour with her, and honestly, just everything that came afterwards was also pretty painful and difficult. But I wanted to keep these because they do reference, some things about her birth that I do want to remember, like just her weight, height, things like that. But I think what I'm going to do is put this stuff in an envelope, just mark on the envelope what it is, so that I know what it is, but I don't have to actually see the stuff. I don't have to see the reminders in black and white, all the stuff written down, everything that happened. I don't need to reread all of that stuff again. So if there is something that just has those negative emotions, some of her clothes, for example, her baby clothes or things like that, reminded me of particularly hard days that I had when she was a baby. Those I was able to let go. I don't need that reminder. I just want happy memories of me and my baby. So yeah, Either get rid of them completely or put them in a place that is out of sight, put them in an envelope, put them in a box or something and mark it so that you know what's in there, but that you don't have to actually see that item and be reminded of those painful memories on a regular basis. Okay, time to tackle the box. Let's see what's in her. I do think it's college notes, but we'll see. Yep, it's college notes. Oh, it runs deep. Wish me luck. You know what? I'm actually going to leave that to last because I think if I go through it now, it's just going to slow me down so much and that will break my momentum and then I won't want to finish. So I'm just going to go through the rest of the stuff first and leave that till the end. At which point I will just put the lid back on and then slide it back into a cupboard. We'll go through it again in another 20 odd years. I don't know, how long has it been since I was in college? 15 years. That's the danger by going through sentimental stuff. Makes you feel old. I want to talk very briefly here about something that comes up a lot as an obstacle, not just with sentimental stuff, but other just kind of older things as well that you might be going through. And that is, someday this will be worth a lot of money, or even now it could be worth a lot of money because it's so old, or maybe even, my kids will want this someday. Chances are the answer is no. It's not worth money. Nobody else wants it. Just because something is old does not mean it is valuable. The two do not necessarily go hand in hand. So hop on eBay and do a search for the item. And when you're searching, make sure that you click the little checkbox that says completed sales, because it's all well and good someone sticking something up on eBay with an exorbitant price on it. But what are those things actually selling for? Not just what somebody thinks they might be worth, but what are people actually prepared to pay for them? That will probably be an eye-opener for you that your stuff is not as valuable to other people as it is to you. But sometimes just doing that tiny little bit of research, or if it is with your kids, asking them, do they actually want this stuff? You may not like the answer that you hear, but it may be the answer that you need to hear to finally part with those things and say your goodbyes. Okay, first cupboard done. Stuff that I'm keeping, stuff that I'm not. Now on to cupboard number 2, cupboard number 3. These should be pretty quick, right? Thankfully they were, but I want you to ask yourself this question when it comes to sentimental stuff. This is probably going to make a big difference when it comes to how much you can part with. And that is asking yourself if it's the physical item itself that is important to you, or is it simply the memories that it evokes? Very often, I would say 9 times out of 10, it is not actually about the item itself. It's just that the item reminds you of something. Is there some other way that you could keep those memories alive without keeping the physical item? For example, if you snapped a picture of it and kept that on your phone or your device or in the cloud or wherever, or could you write a journal entry or just write a little story or something about the item and about the memories that come from that item, the memories around that item, or the things that it reminds you of, the people it reminds you of? Is there some other way that you could capture the essence of the physical item without it needing to take up physical space in your home? Okay, the final tally. Keeping, getting rid of. This is actually a pretty big pile. Not bad. I got rid of much more than I thought I would, so I'm pretty pleased with that, but I still obviously have to organize all this. Okay, I've made an executive decision not to go through this box and not to go through these photo albums or just, stacks of photos. I'm just not ready. I'm not ready to let these notes go. I'm just not in the mood to go through 10 zillion photographs to pick out some that have no meaning. What I'm going to do now is put the stuff back. Ideally what I want, this is like the vision, long-term vision, is to have each of my sentimental categories separated out. So what I mean by that is, you know, stuff from my childhood in one tub, stuff from like my wedding, honeymoon, all that sort of stuff in another tub, Scouts baby stuff in one tub, etc. So I have kind of, I don't have enough tubs right now. I'm gonna have to go through all of the tubs in the gym. That's for another day. Nope. But that's the kind of the long-term plan. So I think today what I'm going to do is, because I have 3 cupboards, I'm going to organize them. I'm going to break this stuff up into 3 categories. 1 is going to be stuff from my childhood, 2 is going to be stuff from Scout's childhood, and the 3rd is going to be kind of miscellaneous stuff. I've got, like I said, stuff that you guys have sent. Yeah, just, you know, gifts that Sam has given me, stuff like that. That's the way I think that I'm going to separate it out, and then eventually, somewhere down the line, you know, in the next decade or so, when I go through the other tubs and whittle those down, then I'm going to go actually separate out everything that I have. But right now, I could go out and buy another tub or 2 to put all this stuff into, but what is the point of just wasting tubs when I could be emptying out another tub in there? So that's the plan right now. Get everything back in, but there is less of it, and I can put it back in a little bit neater, and I will know exactly what is in each cupboard then. This is where a lot of people run into trouble. It is thinking that you need a storage solution before you have actually completed the job. I could have easily gone out and bought myself another handful of tubs to keep all of this stuff together, but the reality is I already have a lot of tubs. I haven't gone through the stuff that is in those tubs, so I probably already have plenty on hand. So I would say, unless you are completely sure and certain that, you know, the stuff that you have, that's definitely staying, it's definitely staying in the place that you have put it, and you definitely know that a particular organizing system is going to work for you, or you're as sure as you can be. If not, if you don't have that certainty, sit with it for a while. There is no point in running out and buying something and then maybe having to return it, or just being stuck with it. Live with the stuff for a while. See if it actually does fit in that space. If you do like it in that space, maybe try and kind of DIY something in the meantime to see if that particular system is something that is going to work for you before you go out and buy a more permanent solution. But following on from that then, another big kind of mistake, this is one I make all of the time, that is not leaving yourself time at the end, or energy at the end, to completely finish the job. I am a terror for decluttering a space, you know, getting it all nice and neat and organized, and then leaving the decluttered stuff there in a pile. So you really need to kind of give yourself that time, like I said, at the end, to finish the job. It's like when you eat dinner, you're really not finished until the dishes have been put in the dishwasher or washed and put away. Or with the laundry, you know, putting the stuff in the washing machine isn't the end of your job, much as I would love it to be. It just isn't. So remember, if you're going to be starting a project, give yourself time, not just to go through the stuff and, you know, put it back, but also then to get rid of the stuff that you have decluttered. Big stumbling block for me even to this day. But yeah, that is, give yourself that time, energy, motivation to actually finish the job once and for all, fully and completely. Now I just have to get rid of all this stuff. This is always the part I procrastinate on the most. Sloan.